Hi, so welcome back. So in this video we are going to deploy our first Lambda function, and we are going to explain what is actually the AWS Lambda. So AWS Lambda is a serverless computing service provided by Amazon Web Services. It enables you to run your code without the need to manage servers or infrastructure. Like, it's compute as a service, and you can just go and upload your code, and the AWS is going to take care of deployment and scaling of your code. Basically, you can deploy applications, you can deploy APIs in the AWS Lambda, and the function is triggered based on some logic. So basically, when you create a Lambda function, you can specify the programming language. So if we just go and create a function, not here, so let's start this service again, Lambda. Yeah, so if you go to like this front page of AWS Lambda, you see it supports Ruby, Node.js, Java, Go. So basically, you can create function in every language which is specified here, and you can also define the amount of memory the function requires. So basically, AWS Lambda runs your code in response to events, and these events can be, let's say, if you upload a data in Amazon S3 bucket, then this function will be triggered, or your EC2 instance is shut down, this function will be triggered, or a message has been published in Amazon SNS topic, this function will be triggered. And this AWS Lambda is basically designed to be highly scalable and can automatically scale to handle large workloads. So for pricing, you only pay for the compute time you consume, with the billing based on the number of requests and the duration of each request. So let's create a function now. I think enough theoretical concepts. So let's go to create a function. My function test. I am going to use JavaScript Node.js, and here the execution role, we need to define a role, and I have created a role which allows us to use AWS X-Ray daemon write access and AWS Lambda basic execution role. So this role is associated with the logs which are posted on the Amazon CloudWatch, and we can see our requests and the response. And this AWS Lambda basic execution role, it allows us to read and write and call the AWS Lambda functions, and it allows us to interact with the Amazon AWS Lambda function. So let's create this IAM role. Like, I have created this already, but like just for the sake of learning, let's create another role. So we go to IAM. So this is IAM service. Let's go to roles, create a role, and this is AWS service, and we are going to use it for Lambda. Here I'm just going to copy and paste this and search this. If I click enter, let's select this, and here go here and select this. So these two roles are defined. I'm going to define this role again because I'm creating this again, and let's create this role. So this role is created. So let's refresh this page again. It must be shown here. So my function test Node.js 18, and let's go and use existing role again, YouTube. And if we go and see this role, we must have these two permissions. Okay, so we have these two permissions, so it's all fine. Let's create a function. So our function is created. This is the basic implementation where the response will be the status code 200 and body is json.stringify. So let's see something here. So this is the total size of the code, and this is the runtime and index.handler. So basically, this is the most important thing, because you might have a lot of files here like index.mjs or some other files. So there is a possibility that there are different functions in your files, you need to define the entry point of your application or your function. So index.handler, so if you see the file name is index and they are exporting const handler. So when we are exporting this handler, it means that this handler is going to be run when we are going to run this Amazon Lambda function. And we can also upload the code by uploading the zip file directly, or we can also use Amazon S3 location when the code is too large, like more than 50 MB. And okay, so let's try to run this code. Let's go to test, create new event, we can say it's hello try, and we can test it, and the execution result succeeded. So you can see body hello from Lambda and status code is 200. So let's change our code, let's say hello, and we can deploy this code in order to make the changes. So let's try to test it again. Let's go to test and test, and if we see, we are seeing hello. So it means we can change the code and we can do anything here. And this is the execution result. So basically this is the command prompt which we use in our like Visual Studio Code or any code editor. So this is how we can create a function using the GUI, the graphical user interface.